you like done ghost tours down here before? Never.
Nope.
Okay. How long have you lived here?
8 years now. We moved from Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yep. Good Lord.
Keep it going.
I keep getting like a lot of ballroom music.
Alright, talk to me. What have you heard?
A lot of ballroom music.
Okay. Any words? I need words. Find the words.
So the blue dot is telling me
That
That's-
shadow. So the shadow is blocking.
okay.
That's why it's
That's why it's darker.
Yeah.
Or colder.
colder.
And then this is just average temp around here.
Oh, it's whatever, because it stays in the center.
Yeah.
Well, just slightly off center.
Yeah.
And wherever it lands is what it's measuring. So that
Okay.
one's stationary. The other
Yeah.
one I have as a mobile.
Okay.
So that way, if you wanted to measure something specifically, like you see another dark spot show up, you can just move the camera to where this dot goes over the spot you want to
And
measure.
you wanted like 15 degrees.
So it'd be 51 degrees and colder.
51
Because it's
degrees
about
colder.
66 ambient.
Okay.
So again, you can just use a marker of 50 degrees and colder.
Mhm.
And then if you see something, like say on the ground, and it is 50 degrees and colder, first off, shadows are going to be colder, right?
Okay.
And then go right up to it and see if kick it around, make sure it's not a can.
Yep.
You know, that kind of stuff. But in this location, I'm really looking like along the wall. So if we
Okay.
get like because the wall is going to hold on to the heat from the day's sun.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you
if
can
we get
see
it like the
that.
blue dot that bounces around,
Yep.
why did it do that?
Mhm.
That's what I want to know.
Okay.
Now, I'll be honest, we've actually had 3 cold figures stand up in this location.
Okay.
So very crazy stuff.
Perfect.
Anything now, Sophia?
I could be hearing things, but earlier I'm pretty sure I heard we're dead.
Tony, yeah, you can go ahead and hit that stop button. Relax. We did get this up to a level for the other tours or tourists walking through. And actually, you are looking for an 8 or an above at this location because the lampposts near us give off up to a 7. And we're in a tight space. But I'm just going to give you a few extra details because, again, you're ghost hunting. You're not on a campfire marshmallow ghost tour like these other people that are staring at you all weird. Yeah. Sorry, I am going to take a drink of water. Like, I'm like, little, like, what the hell just happened? I mean, I'm okay, everybody, so I just don't want you guys freaking out. Like, you're looking at me like, do you need a nurse?
No, no, I'm just into it. That's all.
Again, that doesn't happen to Sally. It never happened. So, make sure you're still spinning. Yeah, just go back to pause for a second. This is Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur. And I say some because dueling was illegal in the 1700s. They had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of those hiding spots. So, here's how the story goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. I say his name slowly because if the song Brown-Eyed Girl shows up for either one of you while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time. It's part of his name. So anyway, Dr. Ladd moved down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash flow that she just received. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of that doctor. So he moves down here to Charleston from Rhode Island to prove that he's not after Amanda's cash. Well, on his way into town, he had a coachman. The coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world. Sorry, I normally explain when we have teenagers, because they don't know what the hell a coachman is. So, anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to the newcomer into Charleston, and somebody walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. Do those initials sound familiar to anything else I've said while we've been here?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. So we were getting RI all the time on regular spirit boxes, like somebody was spelling something out, and I wanted to verify it. So I bought another device. And the device, what it does is basically a digital Ouija board, but it acts off of EMF like Ashley's device. So anytime there's a spike, it would give us a letter. I broke it about 2 weeks ago. I was trying to fix it and cut too many wires. Yeah, so I have to order a new one and wait for the insurance. You guys get the point. But the point I'm trying to make is we did get the letters RI, but only whenever I brought up Ralph's name. It was not with the Rhode Island piece at the beginning. Moving on. Ralph tells the doctor, hey man, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Why don't you come with me? I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. The doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. And the longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making because he started his medical practice here. He's doing pretty well. Amanda got wind of this up in Rhode Island. She's moving down soon so they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the story. It's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. This one just happens to be a doctor. So, why am I telling you about this happy doctor guy when we're in Dueler's Alley? Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He got better seats. So on the way home from seeing Richard III one night, they are arguing over the actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly between the two of them. They went their separate ways. The next day, Ralph went to his friends at the newspaper and placed an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thought of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doc saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's gonna die. Keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. I just like to point out how dumb shit was back in the 1700s. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it again. Anyway, so the two gentlemen came down here back to back, took their 10 paces, they turned. Doc points his gun in the air. Shot is one shot. He did not want to kill his friend, just needed the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. However, Ralph still has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later, on November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Two things about the last statement I just said. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor, guys. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out, but he failed because he died. Every ghost tour tells you to listen for the whistles while we're here. We have a camera running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a disembodied whistle, it's going to show up on one of those two different devices. However, can't tell you how many times I'm going through the spot check of a spirit box, which by the way, when I'm going through the spot checks on any of your devices that record, it is minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. That way I'm unbiased to looking for anything specific. Can't tell you how many times I've heard the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately after. Happens dozens upon dozens of times. Been coming here for 5 years. Can't tell you how many of them there are. So many. So if you're going to try this on your own, because you guys all live at least relatively nearby, walk through this alley. I can't take you all the way through. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But use your voice recorders from your phone. And just remember, every local knows the damn story. Anybody walking up and down Carmel or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it all the time. Every time I even drive past this damn alley, I throw a whistle, just out of habit. Just something we do here. So, you guys, I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but every time you walk by here, just throw a whistle down, you might hear a whistle back. At about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, now one time I actually thought I had a whistle back, but I wasn't recording. That's the only problem. So let's talk about how I got booted out of here. Here's the fun part. So, this alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. So there was a wall up there. We're going to go further back than Dueler's Alley, so we're further back in time. And the reason why that wall was there is because this used to... What'd you get?
That's a funny song. The Kendrick Lamar thing.
What was it?
Kendrick Lamar song.
Oh. This was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. Cows, goats, and chickens are down here. So I'm telling you this because they built the alley slowly over the years, and it started on the Queen Street side. So those bricks down there are older than the ones we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There is a full handprint from a slave child down at the end. Some fingerprint swipes, but there's a lot of speculation about the swipes because we even have swipes up here. So the handprint, you can't deny what that is. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson because there's nothing paranormal about that brick. That's the last place that kid's going to be, whoever made that brick. All right, you already know how I feel about cemeteries. So one night, it's November 26th of 2020. I'm still new at this. I told my team a little bit about the history and was going to point it out and just continue moving on to our next location. Well, they all decided to stop. And they huddled around the damn brick, waiting for something to happen, and I know nothing's going to happen because the kid's not there, and I'm also trying to be respectful to the mansion at the end of the alley. We were standing outside this gentleman's dining room window. He was not too pleased with us. I'd been there plenty of times before, never really thought anything of it, and he basically came out screaming his head off. My daughter was on the tour that night. She was about her age, and she thought it was hysterical that her father was getting yelled at. She was all about it. What you got? Interesting. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays because I worked in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this, and you guys all like fight over cows on Thanksgiving. You scared me for life. Yeah, I don't do holidays ever. I even thought about taking Veterans Day off this year. Like, why the hell not? But anyway, moving on. The next day was the 28th of November, and I called my partner that brought me into tourism, and I told him what happened so I could figure out what to do. Again, I'm new with this. And he's laughing too because he already got the complaint. And he basically said, you're not allowed to go down that far. Halfway is about the marker. He said, you're going to have to reroute your group tonight. It's Black Friday, guys. My tickets were way cheaper than what you guys paid, and I'm sold out. So what I told my team was, I'm into vampires. I'm not into pirates, and I've never had anything happen over there anyway. So I would normally tell you a pirate story next, but they've kicked us all out of there too. We're not allowed to tell that story anymore. But before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. If I'm going to tell you guys that we're about to go talk about pirates, what's the first pirate you think of? And don't tell me Captain Jack Sparrow. Seriously, which pirate would you think of? Any pirate. What's the first pirate that comes to mind?
Say Blackbeard.
Blackbeard, right?
I was like, I don't think that's
Yeah, don't
right.
overthink it, guys. Like, I'm trying to keep it simple. But somebody heard Anne. I didn't tell them that we were going to be discussing Anne Bonny. Like, she has pretty deep history here. So, I was like, alright, maybe we'll get something. I took them up and around the corner, told them what I knew about pirates in Charleston. Not much, because I only had a few hours to scramble. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300 once we got over there. I don't know what it means. I wrote it down. I do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Now, I was actually pretty pissed off about the whole ordeal. Let me explain. Again, not into pirates at the time, and pirate stories come from pirate lore. I have a master's degree in creative writing, and I have a bunch of other bachelor degrees that are also in writing formats. So, pirate stories being pirate lore that was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard and Anne Bonny, is a problem, because whenever anybody found something, I had to read like 3 textbooks to try to verify one small piece of evidence. However, reading all of them, it's done. Reading all of them, pirates did like this pretty great story. Actually, at one point, one year, was a finale for me, because it was like that big of a story, and it's so fun to look for pirate stuff. But anyway, is that rain?
I'm not feeling anything.
I heard Peter.
Peter?
You got excited. Must be inside.
Yes and no. I want something else to go along with it. Do you have anything?
I have some weird ones.
Read them off. I can bring
I
my
have
glasses.
Safe, Naked, Peace, Guy, Slight, Zoe, Scruple, Felon, Sadie, Brown, Discuss.
We've had Scruple show up here quite a bit. So that makes sense between Dr. Ladd and Ralph, like the flight. There was a Scruple. So that would have been a terminology from that time frame. The Peter's interesting. Did you hear anything at all, or are you focused on me?
No, I'm not hearing like.
Okay. It's only interesting because sometimes we get things because Eliza's husband that we just talked about over there, he's buried over here. And he doesn't always like talk about himself or give us things about his wife. She's buried at St. Peter's in Philadelphia. So again, it's a weird correlation. It's just weird find. I would want something else going on.
Evil Brad is literally.
Evil Brad?
Yeah.
Damn evil Brad. So what we're going to be doing, oh by the way, we're doing a replacement story of a replacement story. I had to replace something with for the Anne Bonny bit. So I scrambled and I just started telling the story that all the ghost tours end with. And I don't like the story because it's got a cursed photo in it. So you guys have probably heard it if you've been on any other tour here in Charleston. So we're going to actually go discuss a story that we don't normally hear all the time. But it's kind of a story within a story anyway. So we're doing a replacement of a replacement. It's weird. And I'm still learning more about it. So the story is super short. But we're going to change out Tom's camera once we get up there. We're going to be using a night vision infrared camera because we're going to be looking for an actual apparition in the one cemetery. But you did get Eastern. Was that showing up on there? Like East?
I did get East. Yeah. And I got Michael just now.
I keep getting Kendrick Lamar.
8 words. So no numbers hanging out of yours. Anything weird coming out of your camera over there, Tom?
Mm-mm.
And just so you know, like I get more excited when I'm going through that back at the office because it's going to YouTube. I know I said I'm not a YouTuber, but I'm also not in the video a whole lot.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I've got the word yesterday that comes in twice. Is there anything yesterday?
Today's what, the 9th? So November 8th.
But it just came through yesterday and then like a little bit later in a different voice yesterday, like in a different context. But it just came through like.
I'll write it down and see what I got. Again, well, the
Close
problem that we have is that we're near a cemetery, so it's not like we won't get a little bit of bleed over.
Yeah.
So again, we now dive in to see if there's a Peter that died on November 8th. That could be it.
Elijah?
Church.
Oh.
She got Jesus, but probably the church.
Yeah, first of all by the church. You sure you heard Elijah, not
Yep.
Eliza?
No, Elijah.
Okay. So Tom, yeah, you can hit that stop button.